At this afternoon's top stories, ECCB building named after Sir K. Dwight Venner, demonstrators protest outside St. Lucia's Parliament, and calls made for Jeff Sessions to resign over Russia contacts. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Thursday, March 2nd, 2017. I am Shaira Flanders. Nationally, a ceremony was held this morning to name a building at the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank after former governor, the late Sir K. Dwight Venner. Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, the Honorable Gaston Brown, and Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis and Chairman of the ECCB Monetary Council, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, were among those scheduled to deliver remarks. Sir K. Dwight Venner served as governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank from December 1989 to November of 2015. He was the longest-serving governor of the ECCB. Sir Dwight passed away on Thursday, 22nd December 2016 at the age of 70. He is survived by his wife, Lady Linda Venner, and their 7 children. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris says no one can deny the fact that good things are happening in the delivery of healthcare in St. Kitts and Nevis under the government of national unity. During Tuesday's Good Governance and Accountability for Prosperity Town Hall meeting at the Saddlers Primary School, Prime Minister Harris noted that as of December 2016, more than 400 persons benefited from magnetic resonance imaging or MRI scans at the St. Kitts Biomedical Research Foundation at Boria Estate.
Never happened before. We have saved them the cost of travel, the inconvenience of travel, and all the associated expenses. And would you believe that even people coming off the cruise ship to go for MRI services right here in St. Kitts? Guests at the Marriott have left there to go to MRI services right here in Lower Borio in St. Kitts.
He also spoke of plans to launch a national health insurance scheme by 2018.
But equally important for me is the fact that by next year we will have introduced a national insurance health scheme so that everyone, regardless of age, class, color, creed, or gender, will be able to go to a doctor, pull out the insurance card, and that will be enough to take care of their treatment and care.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris. Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr. says having a transparent electoral system in St. Kitts and Nevis forms part of the good governance agenda because without a free and fair system, there will not be a proper democracy. Speaking at the Good Governance and Accountability for Prosperity Town Hall meeting in Saddlers on Tuesday, the Attorney General said that for too long the Federation has experienced a problem in its electoral system and government will work to correct it.
We will go from every house to another house and take those who are 18 and over, those who are citizens of this country, those who are qualified to be registered to vote. We will register them where they live.
He stated that it is not a practice to deny people whose names are on the voters list and who are qualified to vote their right to vote. He said, however, that too many persons throughout St. Kitts and Nevis are not properly registered. He further stated that for too long also persons have been moving from St. Kitts to Nevis to register to vote where they don't live in an effort to interfere with and to fix the system on the sister island. He noted that such an issue would be rectified once the proper measures are put in place. Moving on to news on the regional scene in St. Lucia, a group of individuals gathered at the House of Parliament to voice their dissatisfaction with Senator Dr. Raymond's attendance at the first Senate sitting for 2017 on Tuesday. We hear more in this HTS St. Lucia report.
It appears that the House of Parliament in recent times has become no stranger to protest. Just a few months after a View Fort Concerned Citizens Group and a number of other people protested the impending or the proposed DSH agreement, we have a number of women outside there apparently protesting the presence of Minister in the Ministry of Finance, Dr. Yebolis Raymond, amid the new PIC scandals. We're going to just find out a bit of what's going on here.
Our children is our future.
Why
Barbados must go.
Why are you outside here protesting?
As a parent, I have daughters, and as a minister, he showed no respect to young girls. He must go ASAP. I am tired. I am supporting the young girl because I have 3 beautiful daughters. You Barbados must go ASAP.
This was Camilla Darius, one of the 20 to 30 protesters, mainly female, outside the house. The reaction to the alleged blackmail scandal involving Dr. Raymond and the 18-year-old Kashabi Alexander has drawn the ire of a chunk of St. Lucia's female population. The protesters, which included a few men, assembled on the sidewalks of Labrie Street, loudly voicing their opposition to the minister's attendance at Tuesday's upper house sitting. Calling for Dr. Raymond's head, the protesters plan to keep up the pressure until their desire is fulfilled.
It's a sign of the bad behavior of our minister, Lucia Raymond. I too am a parent, and I don't believe that a minister who behaves that way should still be running a ministry in the government. It is wrong, it is unfair. It doesn't even matter if the young lady was 18. She was under his supervision. And instead of guiding her and trying to help her develop, he took advantage of her. And yes, we will continue to advocate until something is done about Lucia Raymond.
I think it is way past time that Lucia leaves and resigns from the government, and especially as leader of government business in the house. He is a bad example for a Christian, a bad example as a married man, bad example.
The group outside Parliament held in their hands flyers and posters depicting their apparent distaste with the situation. The minister at the center of the controversy, meanwhile, is remaining mum until the blackmail case before the courts is completed.
I said to you, I will not be answering any questions which are regarding the court.
No, well,
case.
not the court, not the case itself, just your
And
resignation until the court.
The Prime Minister has made his pronouncement on that, and he said that there's a court case, and then, well, depending on how the court case goes, he will decide as to what he will do, and that is the crux of the matter.
But just for your personal benefit, you don't think it would be better if you stay in the background?
For what?
Now?
I have a role. I have a role to play in this government, and I'm focused on that at this point in time.
Officers attached to the Special Services Unit were summoned to the scene to maintain order. Miguel Favre, HTS News Force.
President of the Congress and Trade Unions and Staff Association of Barbados, Cedric Murrell, says employee engagement may be key to boosting productivity in the public sector. We hear more in this Nation News Barbados report.
It has been suggested that public sector managers work on improving employee engagement and morale. President of the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados, Cedric Murrell, said this could help to boost the performance of the civil service. He was speaking on Monday at a symposium which formed part of the 14th Annual Week of Excellence.
It is well known that public sector reform initiatives were meant to motivate public officers and to bring about change to the workplace culture. The implementation of successful public sector reform requires that improvements are made at the level of governance and management. Let me say, though, that what is being advanced here this morning is nothing new. The challenge, though, has always been in the failure to implement these much-needed adjustments. Today, we in Barbados, like other countries around the world, are looking for ways to improve the overall performance of the public sector. We in the Congress of Trade Unions and Staff Associations of Barbados posit the view that a good starting point is to address the current human resources management practices and place greater emphasis on non-monetary incentives. The management of the public service ought to pay careful attention to employee satisfaction and morale, as these, apart from wages and salaries, are the most important drivers of performance.
Moving on to news on the international scene, U.S. politicians are calling for the new Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, to resign because of allegations he discussed Donald Trump's presidential campaign with Russian diplomats. Sessions denies the allegations and says he's done nothing wrong. Al Jazeera's Victoria Gattenby has the details on that story.
Testimony you're about to give before this committee.
During his confirmation hearing almost 2 months ago, then Senator Jeff Sessions was asked about his contacts with Russia. Here's what he said.
I have been called a surrogate at a time or two in that campaign, and I did not have communications with the Russians.
But the Washington Post says Sessions spoke to the Russian ambassador to the US twice last year. A former high-ranking staffer in the Justice Department says the evidence may have come from phone calls intercepted by the National Security Agency.
Communications would have been captured by the NSA. Even the communications, one that he said that he had in his Senate office building with the ambassador. So it seems to me that the intercepted electrons are not going to lie.
Sessions denies the allegations and said in a statement to Al Jazeera, "I never met with any Russian officials to discuss issues of the campaign. I have no idea what this allegation is about. It is false." The Justice Department has also released a statement saying Sessions' answers weren't misleading during his confirmation hearing. It says Sessions had more than 25 conversations with foreign ambassadors when he was a senator. The Democratic leader of the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, is among several high-ranking politicians calling for Sessions to step down. She says that Sessions is not fit to serve as a top law enforcement officer of our country and must resign.
We're just here to start the process.
The allegations surrounding Sessions follow an announcement by the U.S. House of Representatives Intelligence Committee that it is to investigate allegations of collusion between President Trump's presidential campaign and Russia. Last month, Trump's national security advisor, Michael Flynn, resigned following revelations he misled the vice president about his contacts with the Russian ambassador in December.
Jeff Sessions!
Trump has repeatedly dismissed allegations of collusion as fake news, spread by critics opposed to his policies. Victoria Gatenby, Al Jazeera.
Still on the international scene, the government of Kenya plans to start testing the production of crude oil in the northwest of the country. A British exploration company will transport oil from Turkana to a port on the Kenyan coast. But government officials say the earliest the oil fields can be exploited commercially is 2020. Al Jazeera's Catherine Sawyer reports from Turkana.
Welcome to Turkana, Kenya's dry, hot and desolate region. But there's something in the horizon. One of the poorest areas in the country is now pumping oil. Tullow Oil, a British company, has been here since 2012, and its engineers say the oil they've discovered is of good quality and is commercially viable. The country's oil reserves are up to 750 million barrels. Over the coming months, the government wants some of the crude oil transported by trucks and trains to a port on the Kenyan coast, more than 1,000 kilometers away. During this pilot production phase, about 2,000 barrels a day will be pumped, a small amount compared to the millions of barrels produced by other big oil producers in Africa. Full production capacity will only be known after the test run. Eventually, the plan is to build a heated pipeline that can easily pump the thick tar-like oil along its way. It won't be easy or cheap.
You will be thinking about the resource levels that you want to put through the pipeline. You need to fine-tune your designs. You think about the counties through which the pipeline would run across, so you're talking about land access.
Full production is still years away, but what many people here in Turkana want to know is how it will benefit them.
Turkana leaders are negotiating how revenue from this oil will trickle down to the community. Many people we talk to here say they just want the basics: food, water, good schools, hospitals, roads, and jobs for their children.
The company has put up some community projects, including water tanks like this, schools, and has employed many locals. But people say they also want to know more about the oil.
This is how the oil looks like, yeah?
We take a sample to a village near some of the oil wells. Their conversation about the smell, color, thickness, and value is intense.
Some people write that the oil will belong to all of us. Then we were told the community would get 10% of the revenue. Then it changed to 5%. It's all very confusing.
Government officials who visited the oil rig say that everyone will benefit.
We are looking at forming a sovereign wealth fund. We want to continue to be a diversified economy, even if we have oil.
Many of Turkana's people, who are mainly pastoralists, say they've been ignored for too long. They're forced to rely on food aid because of recurring droughts. Those we talk to hope once the oil starts selling, this region will thrive. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Turkana in northern Kenya.
And now for the weather. Present weather is cloudy with a moderate breeze of 18 miles per hour from the east to northeast. Seas are moderate to rough with waves from 6 to 9 feet. Warnings remain in place for small craft operators and sea bathers. Weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis today and tonight will be partly cloudy with brief locally cloudy periods and light passing showers. That brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.